So the number one thing more than likely that's preventing you from improving in Fortnite is going to be your mentality. I'm going to outline this video by talking about a bunch of Fortnite specific tips that I've recently picked up from a fellow Fortnite YouTuber and a book that I recently purchased dealing with sports psychology in esports. And so most people think that mentality is a minor thing, especially when it comes to esports, but mentality has been accredited to basically separating the good and great from the elite. If you don't believe me, if you're not a Counter-Strike fan, if you do not know what Astralis is and who Device is, I recommend you go search him up. Most of these professional CSGO teams, which CSGO is considered pretty much the holy grail of competitive esports, hire sports psychologists to help with players' preparation before their tournaments and games and how to deal with the essential stress, mental and physical, that requires you be a professional esports player. So I'm going to get right into the Fortnite specific stuff. So there's a guy I recently discovered on YouTube. His name is Marin TM. He is actually a Fortnite player for a European team called Become Legends. And he's been doing a bunch of daily double uploads talking about things that are going to help you improve and dominate in Fortnite. And most of it is, I find, extremely helpful because it focuses a lot on mentality. Now, one of the biggest things that I really took from watching all of his videos and that is dissolving the ego. Now, take an example, a couple of pros that you think of are very, very good elite, but aren't considered the best on their regions or best in the world. Guys like Stretch, Calc, and Tfue. Now, Tfue was once considered at the time, but clearly has not been on the top of the esports scene in Fortnite, at least competitively, for a very, very significant amount of time. But it still remained relevant, unlike a bunch of other previous professional players. But when you think of those guys, you check their Twitters, you know that they're constantly complaining about the game, the meta, making mistakes, constantly complaining about when they die. And they compare this to mentality of guys like Epic Whale, Arkham, Rex, especially these three guys in the West that are considered arguably on their region, and at least in Epic Whale's case, the best in the world. Most of the time, you don't see them complaining on stream. You don't see them tweeting out complaining about things. Their mentality is so good. They're so focused on what they do. And that's because I believe they truly have mastered the skill of dissolving the ego. Their mechanics and all their game sets and all that stuff, it's pretty much maxed out to their max ability. They all have insane mechanics, insane game sense, all that stuff, all of the technical stuff, but the mentality seems different. And that's why they are, I would say those players like Stretch, Calc, and Tfue are great Fortnite players. And I say guys like Arkham, Epic Whale, Rex are elite, top of the best of the best. And so talking more about the dying phase in Fortnite, when you get eliminated, he talked about you need to look at death, and I know this is going to sound cliche, as an opportunity to improve. Now, again, this is a common theme in all esports. And this is something that was highlighted in League of Legends, how Korean esports would always seem to dominate all the other regions. And Korean esports would say is that most of these other regions never learned how to lose. They always seem to view Korean esports was able to look at losing and look at it as opportunities to improve. And this is no different in Fortnite. So instead of when you get killed in a match, and this is something that I even struggle with, and I'm sure tons of even professional players struggle with that are on this bubble. When you get eliminated in a match, simply all you should do, say GG's, especially if you're in a tournament, say GG's, move on to the next match, and then when you're done playing, go back and look and learn. And even when you get eliminated in the moment, there should be two questions that you ask, two questions. What did he do so well that caused me to die? And what did I do that was so bad that caused me to die? Not that I had bad RNG. Maybe you could say stuff like I missed my shots. That's good because that's something that you did wrong. If you maybe made a the correct play, but look back and realize, hey, I screwed up. I missed my shots. I did everything else correctly. I put myself in a good position. I just choked the shots. That stuff you want to putting the blame on yourself. no matter what the situation. He even talked about that even in situations which, I mean, I don't completely agree with this, where you lag out or, you know, you disconnect. He said there's always something you could do different there. It's like, that's stuff that's really out of your control, or you're literally get, you know, DOSed and you freeze and you get killed. There's stuff you really can't do about that. But he even says approaching every death with that mentality, even those situations, is going to translate well into improving faster. And so, again, this is going to lead into, and that is VOD reviewing. VOD reviewing your deaths and approaching with this mentality is going to improve you so much faster, as opposed to, dang, you know, I just had that RNG, or this guy sucks and I just let him kill me. As opposed to, basically, you can do, if you're, let's say you're playing arena, you play your arena match, you die. And what you can do is you can either go immediately look and VOD review then, which I personally don't like doing, or you can play as many arena games that you can that day, whatever you've decided to play, and then at the end of it, right before you're done, you click off and you go watch every engagement and look at what you did wrong and correctly, and use it, remember it, and this is going to improve you faster. Especially now in a tournament setting, again, I would recommend, if you're going to do this, obviously don't do it in the middle of the tournament. Wait till the tournament's over and then go back and look at all your mistakes, what you did wrong, and all of that. And I personally hated VOD reviewing myself because it would always frustrate me so much, because I would look at it as like, oh, I'm a bad player, I'm just, you know, getting killed all the time, as opposed to, hey, I can get better if I do this. And honestly, I've seen a massive improvement in less than a week, just learning VOD reviewing and stuff. And I do tons of VOD reviews on this channel, but I never really did it with myself because I didn't like it, because it always made me irritated and frustrated. Felt like that I was not getting any better, and I wasn't getting any better because I was approaching it from the wrong standpoint. So again, it is imperative that you approach this from the right standpoint. And so the second thing I'm going to be talking about is this book right here. It's called The Invisible Game: Mindset of a Winning Team. And this is kind of an esports based psychology, as you can see with the little, you know, mouse right here. And it talks about all the things required in literal chronological order, on step by step. It is filled with great stuff. The chapters go chronologically, so it goes from like goal setting to team preparation to mentality, and it's like even how to deal with success, and it all goes in a chronological order. And again, I find this very interesting as someone who has graduated from college with a minor in psychology. So I purchased that originally, but I also found this Marion TM guy recently as well. So it just kind of meshed together to make this type of video, because I truly do believe it is important as someone who really did struggle with a mentality. So again, I'm going to just talk about a little bit about this book. This book is also great for things like life lessons. It talks about just like philosophies and how you can incorporate this mentality thing into your everyday life. Talk about the strategy you can use for goal setting, I found, which is the first chapter. It talks about goal setting, and it goes about 30 pages in on how to set really good, achievable, tangible goals that are going to motivate you to succeed, and how they need to be extremely concrete as opposed to broad, because broad kind of disillusions, and you need to write it down somewhere and kind of like stow it away and make sure there's like a timetable so you can later go back. And I haven't even read the entire thing yet. I'm about 4 to 5 chapters in, and I'm absolutely enthralled. I think it's great. I think it's a really good positive influence on your life. It even talks about at the end of the goal setting chapter is about how living in the past is extremely, extremely dangerous, especially when it comes to goals, because as humans, the only thing that drives us forward is the ambition of the future. And I think that's a really cool and interesting thing to look at. And the thing that is also great about this, at the end, he's not making all this stuff up. He uses over 30 or 40 peer-cited psychology-based journals that deal with this topic. So he's using accredited sources, all this proven sports psychology. And I even talk about, he also interweaves stuff from sports psychologists and like not esport, obviously I'm talking about like athletics and stuff like that. It is a really good read, and I would recommend, if you are struggling with mentality in Fortnite, always feel like you're never improving, you're stagnant, you feel like what you're doing isn't leading to success, even though you feel like you're grinding constantly daily, and maybe it's you just kind of want a boost, I recommend buying this book. I'm going to leave a link down in the description, just providing a link for where you can purchase it. I believe if you have a Kindle, you can purchase it for free with a subscription online, or, you know, Amazon. Most people on Twitch are going to have Amazon Prime, so you're going to be able to get this book pretty quickly. I would recommend purchasing it if you're looking for an edge on your competition that isn't something that relates to mechanics, game sense, and straight up ability. Is something that's going to really help you just essentially eliminate all of the things that are holding you back. That these, again, as it talks about, invisible barriers is what this book is all about, saying all the invisible barriers that we as humans set upon ourselves. Well, guys, I think I've done explaining this topic for y'all. I hope you did enjoy. If you did, drop a like on this video and hit that subscribe button and turn on post notifications. I'm going to let this gameplay fill out so you can finish watching this 20 bomb, and I hope to see you in the next one. Peace.
On me.
Let's go! I found him. I found him.
Five people.
Patting on him now.
Okay. Hang it.
No, they just killed him, bro. Fuck me.
Hey, that means there's a guy there, though.
Oh, that means I have to kill everyone else. Literally, no troll. I have to literally kill everyone else.
No cap.
Where the fuck are these kids? I just heard a shot. Lazy. I'm going. Oh, I got a kid down here lower. Oh my god. Last one for the 20. Please don't kill him. Let me shake him down.
Don't kill him.
Don't kill the last guy. The fuck? I found him.
Where is he?
Don't worry about it.
I'm like on the mountain, so I'm shooting up high. So just like, oh, where? Oh, I see him.
Let's go! GG's.
GG, handsome.
You get a 20 bomb, bro?
Yes, sir! By the skin of my fucking cock, I got the 20.
Man, I had 5 and I was okay with that.